All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Echak. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. Now, I was just watching some news on X about, I guess the Duck was on the G7. He was on a plane, and they were asking him all these questions about Venezuela and why did he do this and why did he do that? Did you go inside for regime change? And he was saying how he said he didn't go in there for regime change. Then he said, did you go in there for the oil? He said he ain't going there for the oil. He said he went in there for peace. He said he went in there for peace on earth, something along the lines of that, about peace. It was to make peace on earth, and it made me think of this precept in Daniel, I believe it's the 10th chapter. Let's go there real quick. That's the same shit his forefathers used to say. Or is it Daniel 11? Forefathers used to say that, man. Where is it? Daniel, I forgot where it's at. Let me just Google it. He said, and by peace he shall destroy many, KJV. Let's go there. Daniel, the 8th chapter. I'll start at Daniel 8, verse 21. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king, and that's talking about Alexander the Greek. Okay, he was the first king over Greece. He took over the Persians. That's Esau's history. The Lord gave him a sword in Genesis, the 27th chapter. And he made that sword go to work when he first came into power as the Greeks. Daniel chapter 8, verse 26. Verse 22. Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. So when he died, these kings, the kingdom was divided. So we had Antiochus, not Antiochus, he didn't come out yet, but Seleucid, Cassander, Lacedaemonius, and Ptolemy. They rose up. Those are the 4 most notable horns that rose up after the death of Alexander the Greek. Because when Alexander the Greek died, he created what you call a power vacuum. Okay, so these kings, in order to consolidate that power, they all put crowns upon their heads. You can read about that in 1 Maccabees. As a matter of fact, let's go there real quick. Let's go to 1 Maccabees. So Daniel's matching up with the book of Maccabees, which shows you that the book of Maccabees is true. 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned and is said the first over Greece. So just like he said, the first king over Greece. So Daniel in the book of Maccabees is lining up. I forgot what Chittim is. Let me look that up again. I think it's, I forgot where it is. Let me look it up. Where is Chittim? C-H, how does he spell it? C-H-E-T-T-I-M. Chittim. Primarily refers to the island of Cyprus. That's where it's at. Named after the ancient Phoenician city of Kition, K-I-T-I-O-N, modern Larnaca. on its southeast coast, but the term explained in the Bible to mean the islands and the coast of the Mediterranean Sea in general, often referring to the seafaring west, including Greeks, Macedonians, and Romans. So if you look on the map, it's in the Mediterranean Sea. First Maccabees 1 verse 2, and made many wars. So Esau made many wars, the first over Greece, right? And won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. And that's kind of what he's doing today. He didn't destroy Maduro. So that's the Lord, man. Typically when a king gets taken out of power, you get Gaddafi, you know, where they kill your ass. Or Saddam Hussein, they would kill your ass. But with him, the difference between him is that they actually brought him down. He's gonna sit in the court of law. But that's gonna happen to Esau too. You got a lot of crimes that you committed against the nation of Israel. You're gonna meet the judge real soon, and the judge, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, he's gonna come and he's gonna destroy him, because he hasn't been following the law, statutes, and commandments, as you can see. One law Maduro was keeping in his land, he didn't charge usury like you damn devils over here. He's supposed to be a Catholic. You should be protecting him. I can't wait to see. I'm gonna start looking up Leo the Pope the 14th, see what he got to say about Maduro being locked up. Because he was representing you. That's what his ass get at, ultimately, because he's setting up a false religion for you Latinos out there, thinking that that's a sign that the Lord's showing you he ain't dealing with somebody like that. Let me grab this in the book of Acts real quick. I'm going all over the place, but it is what it is. Acts chapter 7. In verse 48, howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet. So he's not dealing in those Catholic churches, man, those temples. He's not dealing in there. He's dealing in his elect. That's who he's dealing with. The remnant, his elect, that's it. Everyone else, y'all are through. This word's not in you, you're gonna die. Believe that. Even though, like Doubting Thomas, there's gonna be some people who ain't gonna believe until they see the power. Like it tells you in the book of, I believe it's Psalms, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. Let me grab that precept. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, KJV. Psalms 110 and 3. Let's grab that. Psalms 110 and 3, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness. From the womb of the morning thou hast the dew of thy youth. So the people shall be willing in the day of thy power. When they see the power that the Lord's going to impute to his men, that's when they're going to want to believe. You know, just like in the old time, his disciples were healing people, there's going to be healing again. Yahweh Shah was feeding people. There's going to be people going to be eating again during this time where this nigga going to make you take a MOTB to get a sandwich at a gas station. You're going to take it because you're going to be so famished, just like it says in Genesis the 47th chapter. People were giving up their bodies in order to eat. And we saw that, how weak spiritually people are. When the jab came out, we saw how quick people would run into the damn devil and get jabbed up. So he can exterminate y'all. That's how much power he got over you. He just simply exterminate you fools. So y'all are easy killers. Okay, y'all gonna commit suicide ultimately. Okay, then you got some people who they're gonna fail because of their lack of faith, and then you got some that's not gonna bow the knee to the image of Baal, and that's the elect, and that's who's gonna be saved. He's not dealing with everybody, man. That's why the majority of you trust in your damn harlot house. He just told you in Acts 7 verse 48, and a person got stoned for saying that, just like the prophets are today. You know, you don't want to hear that you've been told a lie. And when you read all of Acts 7, it goes into Stephen, and he gets stoned for telling Israel about their past, and that's what we're doing. How you doing, brother? Have a blessed day, my man. You know, I see him all over the city, man. Everywhere I go, I see that man. That might be an angel. I don't know. So he ain't dealing with those churches. I was watching in Venezuela. They were in a church praying to the wood, man. An exalted picture of a so-called white man in a diaper. Okay, and they're praying to him, asking for peace, asking for this, asking for that. You're gonna be destroyed. As a matter of fact, I was watching the news this morning. They were saying that the people who pretty much duct paid some people off to overthrow him. So it was an inside thing that happened and allowed them to go in there. And now I was watching a video about the president, the VP, I forgot her name. So it's a woman. She was saying how she's gonna we gotta prepare to protect our resources, and now she's supposedly wants to come up with a peaceful solution. So well, you gotta watch out with this news, man. If you were in a foreign country and you just something like that happened to you, and then he'll use his propaganda machine, and then some people will start to think, okay, someone's not being loyal and everything is already good, but he can make you go off like that. So you gotta be firm, man. That's another reason why you ain't firm in the truth. You can fall out too. And you have a good day, my man. You know, someone walking across the altars respectfully, man, that's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. Most people, they crash, I don't know what it's like a spirit hop on them. They start doing weird shit, wanna walk behind you and shit. But yeah, man, you wanna be firm, man. You wanna be standing on this rock. Because somebody can just say something to you and then that'll destroy your whole government, man. And he got power to do that. As a matter of fact, let's keep going. Salakia. The people shall be willing in the day, but I have power. When y'all see the power, that's when you're gonna wanna repent then. You're gonna really feel it, man, when you realize who the Lord sent out there to go teach y'all the word. Let me grab us in the book of Jeremiah 28. I'll start at the top. And it came to pass the same year, in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah, in the 4th year, and in the 5th month, that Hananiah the son of Azur, the prophet, which was of Gibeon, spake unto me in the house of the Lord, in the presence of the priests and of all the people, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, saying, I have broken the yoke of the king of Babylon. Within 2 full years will I bring again into this place all the vessels of the Lord's house that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, took away from this people and carried them to Babylon. So there you go. You got Hananiah, the son of Azur the prophet. Hananiah was basically telling his people that the Lord's gonna take everything the king of Babylon took over. He's gonna allow us to bring back those treasures back into the temple. He's gonna break the yoke off of Babylon, which is pretty much taking them out of captivity, right? Jeremiah 28 verse 4, and I will bring again this place, Jeconiah, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, with all the captives of Judah that went into Babylon, saith the Lord, for I will break the yoke of the king of Babylon. So he's saying, thus saith the Lord. He's saying that Yahweh saying, telling him that he's gonna bring back all the captives of Judah. He's going to bring back all the treasures that the king of Nebuchadnezzar took. He's going to do all these things. Jeremiah 28 and 5. Then the prophet Jeremiah said unto the prophet Hananiah in the presence of the priests and in the presence of all the people that stood in the house of the Lord. Even the prophet Jeremiah said, Amen. The Lord do so. The Lord perform the words which thou hast prophesied, to bring again the vessels of the Lord's house and all that is carried away captive from Babylon into this place. Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears and in the ears of all the people. So now he's about to check his ass. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesy both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So here it is. The prophets that have been before me and before Hananiah. Okay, prophesied about many wars, kingdoms, and evils. Let me grab that again. Prophesied against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and evil and pestilence. The prophet, Jeremiah 28:9, which prophesy of peace, like Hananiah was doing, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord have truly sent him. Yeah, we're going to see when your prophecies come to pass, we're going to know if the Lord has truly sent you. But we're going to find out that majority of your prophets that you see, especially in the harlot houses, they're like Hananiah. He's in the Lord's house telling the people this. Jeremiah went in there and told them the opposite. Okay? We prophesied against great kingdoms. We prophesying against this great kingdom. About evils. Evil's a bad time. Jacob's trouble. That's an evil time, man. That's not a time where we're going to be at peace. No, everybody's going to be at war. And that season is coming, where you're going to be faced with some of the economic turmoil that you see going out throughout all the earth. Like you see in Iran, for example, after their dollar collapse. Same thing's going to happen here. Okay, or in Yemen right now, you got 3 different governments fighting for power. That was what I was trying to get at in the book of First Maccabees. That's kind of what happened. Now, these are all Edomites fighting for that same power that the Greeks had, that Alexander the Greek had. Now, Esau thinks he can run around with a sword again and consolidate power again. That's what you're starting to see. But what's going to happen is he's going to fail this time. Okay, he's already talking about going back into Greenland. And we're gonna see if he's gonna do that. He's talking about going into Cuba too. Let's see if he's gonna do that. Colombia is sending troops to their border, their border with Venezuela, so they're getting prepared for battle. Because that's all he's gonna do. He's gonna springboard from Venezuela. He's gonna jump into Cuba, into Colombia, because he got a lot of enemies at his door. He's saying in Greenland there's Chinese ships and Russian ships all throughout there. Why are they posturing for it? They're doing military drills in Taiwan. That's one of his allies. So what are we going to do? What is that leading to? People are hinting, they think World War III is going to happen. It's already starting. It already started, I should say. It's been started. But when is it going to be declared? They thinking around 2030. I think around 2030, that's when it's really going to kick off, man. And that's what it kind of seems like. We're right there at that brink. And that's going to, but we understand that, you know, according to prophecy, it's only wars and rumors of wars until that MOTB be fully established. Then we know we're getting in the high gear then. Then we know it's near the time where the Heavenly Father is going to come visit the earth in which he made. So when you start hearing news about taking an RFID microchip, you know, chipping stations and shit like that, because they're going to be closing down your Walmarts and all these places. They're going to convert them into chipping stations, and your ass is going to go over there. And that's according to 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter. That's why if you don't read about these things, you're not going to be prepared. But you've been warned. Now, the Lord said his servants are going to eat, but ye shall be hungry. He said his servants are going to drink, but you shall be thirsty. So there's going to be people that's not going to be able to eat or drink, and they don't think about these things. They don't meditate on that. See, it tells you in the book of Matthew, the 6th chapter, that you got to keep your eyes single. When it comes to things going on in the world, Esau is trying to pull your eye away from what actually matters. All this shit don't matter, man. Your cars, your clothes, every day this body's perishing, this world's perishing. You're going to perish with it. You're not getting stronger and stronger. If the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, it don't resonate with you, it ain't entering into your vessel, then you ain't going to have what you need in order to get through the times that we're going to be entering into. Let me grab this in the book of First Maccabees and finish. Salakia, Jeremiah 28:10. Then Hananiah the prophet took the yoke from off the prophet Jeremiah's neck and brake it. And Hananiah spake in the presence of all the people, saying, thus saith the Lord, even so will I break the yoke of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, from the neck of all nations within the space of 2 full years. And the prophet Jeremiah went his way. So he's like, man, please. I believe when you read Jeremiah, the 27th chapter, they wanted to lock his ass up because he was teaching this word. So the prophets, they weren't going around saying they love everybody, man. Okay? And that's why when you read the book of Acts, the 7th chapter, that's what Stephen was going into. And he said in Acts 7:48, he's not dwelling in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet. Okay? So there you go. And Israel never wanted to accept. They wanted to follow the ways of the heathen. They wanted to lie. They wanted to hear about peace. That's all they want to hear. But the prophets ain't tell you about that. When the Lord got men bringing out the raw of the Bible, the bitter herbs, nobody wants to hear that. They want the sweet. They want all the kingdom, you know, everlasting peace, new bodies. They don't want to hear the bitter herbs, man. You got to mix the sweet and the bitter. Let's grab that in the book of Revelation, the 10th chapter. Before I'm all over the place, but oh well. Revelation 10 in Revelation chapter 10. In verse 8, and the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it, eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So there you go. The spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. He had to eat the roll, but he said, you're going to have to prophesy again. So he died, man. John the Revelator died, man. That was a long time ago. This is over 2,000 years ago when he wrote these words. So why is he going to prophesy again? Because we understand that through the word that we're here through the regeneration, the reincarnation. We're prophesying now, then that's a good, you were probably prophesying back then too. If your spirit got you prophesying, you were prophesying back then too. If your spirit got you false prophesying, you were probably a false prophet then too. You a non-believer, you were probably a non-believer then. Okay? Because of the spirit of the prophets, it tells you in Isaiah the 34th chapter. Let's grab that real quick. That he gave you their lot by line. Your lot is your lot. You know, you're going to come back and do exactly what the Lord created you to be, man. Isaiah 34 in verse, I'll start at 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. For my mouth it have commanded, and his spirit it have gathered them. And he have cast a lot for them, and his hand have divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein. So from generation to generation, you shall possess that lot forever. That's your lot. This in the book of 1 Corinthians 14 and 32. That's what you are. That's why it tells you in Revelation 22 and 11, he that is wicked, let him be wicked still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. Because you're in your lot. And this is the times that we're in. People are showing you who they are. That's their lot, man. That's what you're starting to see. Oh, that's his path. He's supposed to go that way. That's what you're starting to see in this time. So everyone's being lined up. Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14, verse number 32. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So that's who they're subject to. Back in Jeremiah 28, before I forget. Jeremiah 28 in verse 12. Then the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah the prophet. After that, Hananiah the prophet had broken the yoke from off the neck of the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Go and tell Hananiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Thou hast broken the yokes of wood, but thou shalt make for them yokes of iron. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, I have put a yoke of iron upon the neck of all these nations, that they may serve Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and they shall serve him, and I have given him the beasts of the field also. So Hananiah is telling how he's going to grab all of this back from the King Nebuchadnezzar. He's going to break the yoke off the king of Babylon. But he said the opposite. He's saying, no. Not only that, let me read it again. But thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, I have put a yoke of iron upon the neck of all these nations. So that includes Israel. That they may serve Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and they shall serve him, and I have given him the beasts of the field also. So he's going to come take your beasts too. Okay? Not just Israel, all you nations are going to serve the king of Babylon. Because that's what the Lord was setting up in that time. It was their time to rule, just like the so-called white man's ruling today. And all of you are serving him. Because the Lord wanted it to be that way. He's the modern day king of Babylon according to Isaiah the 14th chapter. And he's going to break that yoke too. He's already broken the yoke somewhat, as you see men on the highways and hedges. Okay, it tells you that the truth shall set them free. Let me grab that. In the book of John, chapter 8, in verse 30. I start at 31. Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, If ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. That's right. And we're free in our minds, okay, that we understand now what we need to be doing. Now we're serving Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. And we ain't serving the so-called white man. That's why we ain't going to bow the knee to this nigga. Okay? Even though we still in captivity. So it's a spiritual thing. We're departing spiritually from this place. He had spiritual chains and bondage. Even though we don't walk around with chains and fetters like captives, we're still locked up to this nigga spiritually. That's why y'all go to these harlot houses. You ain't been freed from there. Y'all going in there through the spirit with fetters and chains on you. But you don't know the truth. You know, if you knew the truth, you wouldn't be going to those places, man. You wouldn't be worshiping a pedophile, a demon like that. Sexual abortion. Look him up. You fuck want to worship a damn pedophile, an ancestral demon. That's why it's fucking demonic. You're just like your God. Telling your kids God love everybody. Get the hell out of here. And then you push that Bible. Your kids got to go to school and work with other kids who got that demonic spirit on them. That's why these kids be getting kidnapped like that. Believing in Santa and stupid shit. Just read in Chronicles a couple days ago, Josiah was 8 years old. He ran a whole kingdom. He wasn't believing in no so-called white man coming down a fucking chimney. Now, he was destroying people like that, man. Destroying altars, destroying any groves like that. When he heard the book of the law, he rent his clothes. This is a young man. You ain't teaching your kids how to be like that. You teaching them how to be weak and how to serve the so-called white man. That's not going to get him up out of here, man. That's not going to get him the grace that he needs to endure. Let's see if there's any more in there. John chapter 8, verse 33. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed, and we're never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free? So just like some of y'all might have that same question. How sayest thou that we may be made free through the truth? That's Israel for you, in a nutshell. John chapter 8, verse 34, Yahushua answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. And what is sin? Sin is the transgressions of the law, according to 1 John 3 and 4. So, you committing sin, man. You worshiping another God. When you go into these harlot houses, it tells you in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter. Let's grab that real quick. You know, you want to talk about the 10 Commandments and all of these things, right? Let me grab this in Exodus 20 and verse number Exodus 20 and 5, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So there you go. You're not supposed to bow down yourself to them and serve them. And that's what you're doing. You're serving a false God, and then when the Lord reaches out his hand and tells you, hey, this is false, this is wrong, you pull back your hand and you continue going in sin, being a servant to sin. John 8, in verse 34 again, Yahushua answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, verily, verily means truly, truly, I say unto you, hold on, what's this? Salakia. No. John 8, verse 34 again, Yahushua answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. And the servant abideth not in the house forever, but the Son abideth forever. Salakia, abideth ever. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. So the Son is to make you free. You shall be free indeed. You're free from believing in false gods, man. That comes with death. That's what the wages of sin is, man. It comes with death. Now it's not, you just don't go to the harlot house anymore, or it's not that, man. It's a whole 180. You know, it's tough because, you know, on the outside it seems like bondage to the world, but it's actually freedom. Because the world is sick. It's sick. It's not getting better, man. I was just watching a video, I think it was in Atlanta, an Uber driver, 15-year-old, ordered an Uber driver, told him to come to this place, kills him. And the nigga lived on the same street he killed him on. So he got caught, now he's being charged as an adult. What's the point of that? It's because of iniquity is abounding. It's because of sin, man. Kids not right in their minds, they don't fear the Lord. That's what all of that is. That's what it leads to. That's what the Lord is showing us. That when his laws, statutes, and commandments are not being executed, it tells you in Matthew the 24th chapter, the love of many shall wax cold. That's what, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. That's all it is. Iniquity is abounding. There's going to be more deaths that don't make any damn sense. Because iniquity is abounding. It's going to ultimately get to the point where the Lord's going to cut it off by destroying it with fire. Let me grab this. Anyways, Salakia, Jeremiah 28. I'm all over the place. Verse 13. Go and tell Hananiah, saying, thus saith the Lord, thou hast broken the yokes of wood, but thou shalt make for them yokes of iron. But thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, I have put a yoke of iron upon the neck of all these nations, that they may serve Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and they shall serve him, and I have given him the beasts of the field also. Then said the prophet Jeremiah unto Hananiah the prophet, hear now, Hananiah, the Lord have not sent thee, but thou makest this people to trust in a lie. Therefore thus saith the Lord, behold, I will cast thee from off the face of the earth. This year thou shalt die, because thou hast taught rebellion against the Lord. So Hananiah the prophet died the same year in the 7th month. So there you go. And a lot of y'all gonna die too. Just like Hananiah, you false prophets that are out there. Let me grab this in the book of Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter. You're gonna die just like Hananiah, telling lies. And he told him the Lord ain't sent you. Ezekiel, I'll start at the top and jump down. 33:1. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. So if you get delivered, but a lot of y'all ain't gonna get delivered. You don't believe in the prophets. You don't believe in the word. Okay, so you are gonna die. Even though it sounds very simple, that's repent or die. That's pretty much the story. Let's jump down. Ezekiel 33 and 31. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that have a pleasant voice, and can play well on an instrument, for they hear thy words, but they do them not. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. And that's the same thing Hananiah found out. Then he knew that a prophet had been among him when his ass got put to death, like Jeremiah told him he was going to die. So the prophets did the same thing. They told him, you're going to die. And what happened? He's gone, right? He died, man. He's probably back through the reincarnation, telling you he's probably in one of these groups. The main group right now that just went off is Genesis. Who knows? That might be Hananiah over there. I think, what's his name is this is all, I'm just a man, through the spirit. I think Nathaniel Lalaga, whatever the hell his name is, he's probably King Saul. I think that man's King Saul. Through the spirit, man. I don't know why. He kind of looked like what King Saul would look like. That's what I would think. He got everyone coming up to him. He prophesies, but then he be going off too. It's weird, man. So you can kind of see it through the spirit. That some people, you can kind of tell, put them back in ancient Jerusalem, man, and we still the same people. I forgot who was doing a video on it, but he was saying how Jerusalem was fucked up, man. We were living in Jerusalem was probably worse than Chicago. The way when we were over there, killing each other, all types of shit. Even going to war with the Romans is like, that blows my mind. Israel wasn't no fucking joke, man. Israel was no joke, man. They proved that when they went to war with the Romans, that proved Israel was not soft, man. Not at all. Not at all. Gave him a good 7-year war, nigga. Fucked you niggas up, and we lost, but you gonna lose in the end. They were going off. We weren't even supposed to fight. Okay, if you had wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you would have got the hell up out of there. You wanted to return home. If the Lord gave you the wisdom in Matthew the 24th chapter, some of the people, they survived. I mean, clearly we survived. We're here today. That's him saving a remnant. That was a terrible time. And it's going to be, this time that's coming is going to be worse than that. I forgot to make my point. Try to land this plane I just put up in the air. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 2 again. And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. And that's Alexander the Greek. And went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And that's Esau. He bombed this place, Iran. They didn't do nothing. Went to Venezuela. Actually, people are dying in Venezuela now. Now I'm hearing reports that people are actually being killed over there. So there's probably some Maduro loyalists. They're probably fighting they're fighting Esau. So, hopefully I can get into some more of that, but I want to land this plane real quick. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 4. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And that's what he's doing. You're going to take over your nation. He said, I'm going to run Venezuela. Ultimately, you're going to become tributary unto him. Okay? First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 5. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So he parted his kingdom among them while he was alive, even though he was sick. So before he died. Just like it said in Daniel the 8th chapter. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. So it was a short rulership. Okay? The Lord don't really need Esau to do too much. As soon as he's done, he's cutting them off. It tells you in the book of Job, the 14th chapter, I have appointed the bounds that he cannot pass. And clearly, Alexander the Greek had bounds he couldn't pass either. You learn about him, he was wicked as hell too. First Maccabees 1 verse 8, and his servants bear rule, every one in his place. So the servants, meaning the people that were underneath him. Antiochus, I don't know why I keep saying Antiochus. Antiochus came out of the Seleucid Empire, but it was Ptolemy, Lasamias, Cassander, and Ptolemy, Seleucid. Ptolemy, Seleucid, Lasamias, and Cassander. The four notable ones, but there was a couple others when you look it up. But they end up getting consolidated anyways into those empires. So that was that vacuum. That was that vacuum that after he died it created. So he's trying to do that now, man. He's trying to consolidate all this power. That's what Edomites do. They fight over power, man. But when the Lord returns, we ain't gonna have to do all of that, man. Everything's gonna be in order. Israel's going to be on top, and the rest of you nations are going to be underneath serving them. You're going to be in order then. First Maccabees chapter 1. I mean, you do it for the so-called white man with a smile on your face, so you're going to be, and it tells you when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. You're going to rejoice when you do it for Israel. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So there you go. I might as well keep going a little bit more. So they all put crowns upon their head, and evils multiplied in the earth. How much more evils when he came back in power again? The Greeks fell, the Romans fell. Then he came back. And look at the evils. You're talking about iniquity abounding. It's far beyond any other time. Now this nigga actually got technology that he didn't have in those past rulerships. The Greeks didn't have the tech that they have today. The Romans didn't have the tech that they have today. I should say the Edomites, the Idumeans, the wicked, they didn't have the technology that they have today. So they can deceive you. So they can put all these curses upon the nation of Israel. Got people calling you black. Now, we're the children of God. Nope. Nope. And that's why you're going to see. That's what you're going to see. Just like I said in Hosea 1 and 10. There shall they be called my people. Going back to Psalms 110 and 3. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. You're going to see it. You're going to know the Lord's dealing with certain people. And it's not because they're black or whatever. It's because those are his children. Or they're light skinned or Spanish or whatever. Because Israel looks like everybody. But the true believers, he gonna protect them. All right, where am I? Let's go back to Daniel 8 before I forget. Daniel chapter 8. In verse number 23, and in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, A king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And that's Israel, Antiochus Epiphanes. You read more about 1 Maccabees, the first chapter, it talks about that. He destroyed them. He did a great slaughter after he came out of Egypt. Daniel chapter 8, the verse 25, and through his policy, Moab can't fucking drive, man. Daniel 8, verse 25, and through his policy also he shall cause the craft, so like it, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hands. And that's what Esau is doing through his policies. Esau's got a lot of executive orders that he's putting out. He's causing his craft to prosper in his hand. Okay, and ultimately he's gonna try to implement that MOTB. That's gonna be the main thing, which is the mark of the beast. He's gonna make it illegal for you to say that on his platforms. You can't talk about the MOTB. Just like there was a time when you couldn't say anything about the jab shot. He'll call that medical misinformation. He's gonna call the RFID. So he might call you an anti-Semite. Nah, if you don't take the chip, you're anti-Semitic. You don't take the MOTB. This is supposed to help people. Look at what it does. It shows you all your biometrics. Don't you want to make your health great again? So through his policies, he's going to cause craft to prosper. Daniel 8 verse, and this is what Antiochus Epiphanes did. And through his policy, Daniel 8 and 25, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. And that's what I want to grab that precept. And by peace shall he destroy many. When they were on the G7 plane asking the duck, why did you go into Venezuela? He said, because of peace in the earth. I want to put peace in the earth. I want peace in the earth. This is a demon I'm talking about. This is Antiochus Epiphanes, the fourth. He was using those same destroying, taking, making countries tributary unto him. Ultimately, that's Alexander the Greek was doing that too. Of course, when you conquer, they're gonna be tributary. I mean, y'all gonna be tributary to us. We're gonna tax you too. But we're not gonna do it in unrighteousness. You're gonna want to do it. And if you don't do it, your land's we're gonna put curses on you. We're gonna destroy any rebellion that ever rises up against us. There's nothing you're gonna be able to do against us, man. We're gonna be perfect. We're gonna be perfect like the Lord. You don't want the Lord to be angry, then you're not gonna want us to be angry either. So by peace, he's gonna say he's doing it for peace, but it ain't for peace, man. That's all propaganda. Let me read that again. Daniel 8, verse 25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many, and he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, and he shall be broken without hand. So, and by peace shall destroy many. Okay? And that's his main slogan that he's going on around the world. World peace. Give me the Nobel Peace Prize. Peace, 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 peace. But by peace he shall destroy many. And that's what he's doing. More wars. Oh, they're killing Christians. I gotta go make peace over there. Maduro, we told you to leave. I gotta go make peace over there. Okay. And he's doing it smart too. The fact that he ain't killed Maduro, man, we're in a different time, man. Esau, if you know what he did to Gaddafi, the Lord must be doing something with Maduro. He might remove that Catholic bullshit that's in his heart. remove that idol by humbling you down. That's what he did to the prophets, man. Maduro I didn't like him at first because he was praying to the so-called white man, but now I see that the Lord probably working with Maduro. He kept him alive. Got his wife alive too. We in the last days, man. We gonna start to see who was who. He might be Jeroboam. He might be Jeroboam. You know, who knows? Who knows, man? I'm just fooling around, but he could be anybody, man. But Joseph was in a pit, and he got exalted. You know, as a matter of fact, what's today, Monday? That's crazy. They locked him up on a Friday, sat him in prison over the weekend like a common thief. Crazy, man. I think he got court today. As a matter of fact, let me look at some news. What time is it? Let me see if I'm done with that. Daniel 8:25. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, which he shall be broken without hand. Let me look that up. Let me see what's in my notes. Daniel 8, verse 25. Daniel 8. Oh, got some notes. The prince of princes is Yahushua, and he shall be broken without hands. And this is talking about Antiochus Epiphanes. As a matter of fact, let's go there real quick. This is how he was broken without hands. 2 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 5. But the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, smote him with an incurable and invisible plague. Or as soon as he had spoken these words, a pain of the bowels that was remediless came upon him, and sore torments of the inner parts. And that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowels with many and strange torments. Howbeit, he nothing at all ceased from his bragging, but still was filled with pride, breathing out fire in his rage against the Jews, and commanding to haste the journey. But it came to pass that he fell down from his chariot, carried violently, so that having a sore fall, all the members of his body were much pain. So he gave him some crazy ass plague. 2 Maccabees 9 and 8. And thus he that a little afore thought he might command the waves of the sea, so proud was he beyond the condition of man, and weigh the high mountains in a balance, was now cast on the ground and carried in a horse litter, showing forth unto all the manifest power of God. And that's funny because Epiphanes means God manifests. So the Lord manifested his power in destroying his ass. Just like Esau, he exalts himself as if he's the Most High. And just like Alexander Epiphanes, Antiochus Epiphanes, the same shit's gonna happen to him. He gonna manifest that you're not the Most High. Like he told you in the book of Ezekiel 30, I forgot. Ezekiel 30 something. He said, Ezekiel 35. No, Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28, he tells the king of Tyrus that he going, let me grab it because I can barely quote it. Ezekiel 28. I'll start at 7. Ezekiel 28:7. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Will thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. So he's going to show you just a man. But through his science, through his technology, his military power, he thinks he's a god. You got to get on the G7 plane. You got to go all the way up in the sky to ask this nigga a question. Excuse me, why did you go to Venezuela yesterday? He's way up in the plane fucking hundreds of thousands of miles, 100, maybe 40, 20,000 miles. But, you know, he thinks he's the most high, man. He's just fucking hilarious. And that's when he wants to do his counsel, man, when he on the G7 plane, man. That's funny as hell. So he manifests, it shows you his mindset. And that's why Esau got those tall ass skyscraping buildings. He likes to sit at the top, look out. He looks at you like a bunch of little ants. That's how he looks at y'all. This fucking pedophile looks out a fucking window and looks at everybody like they just little ants walking on the ground. Like he's so magnified. That's why he drives around in these Dodge trucks, Dodge Rams. You know, he likes those big trucks, make him feel big. That's the Edomite mindset. Going 11 miles to the gallon. Nigga's dumb, man. But this is his time, so, you know, let him do his thing. Tells you in Lamentations, the 4th chapter, Lamentations 4:21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. So enjoy your time, man. Enjoy your kingdom. You worked hard for it. You should get to enjoy it. I respect it. The Lord gave you it. What you supposed to do? If I was an Edomite, shit, I get the biggest truck and I lift that motherfucker up. I waste all types of diesel gas in the air, man. I be doing everything, man. Do what the heart wishes, man, because then it's nothing but punishment and slavery. Let me finish Antiochus Epiphanes' death. 2 Maccabees chapter 9 in verse 9. So that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man, and whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away. As a matter of fact, I saw something, Duck's hand got something wrong with his hand or something. Something wrong with his hand, man. A lot of medical issues that people are saying, man. I want to be surprised. Man. Never know. That pride, man, tells you, man, a haughty spirit before a fall. And this is what happened to Antiochus Epiphanes when he decided to come up against Israel. The Lord plagued his ass. First he went into Persia. When you read up, he came back with shame, then he wanted to take it out on the Jews, and the Lord plagued his ass. And that's the position that Esau's in. He already got his skin. He wants to go into Iran, right? He's gonna come back with shame. He might try to come up against Shaw, and who knows? He might be God manifest, might be Antiochus Epiphanes. Who knows? 2 Maccabees 9 verse 9, so that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man, and whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away, and the filthiness of his smell was noisome to all his army. So whatever he was dealing with, it made his body to stink. Okay? It made his body, his flesh, it made all that stink. 2 Maccabees chapter 9 verse 10, and the man that thought a little afore he could reach to the stars of heaven, no man could endure to carry for his intolerable stink. So he made Antiochus Epiphanes really smell really bad. Here therefore being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride and to come to the knowledge of himself by the scourge of God, his pain increasing every moment. And when he himself could not abide his own smell, he said these words, it is meet to be subject unto God, and that a man that is mortal should not proudly think of himself if he were God. So he learned that lesson quick. He understood when that judgment, that's when you come to the knowledge that it's better to be humble. And that's why we want to remain in that state of just be humble, man. Just be humble. Let me see, Proverbs 16, I think it is. Proverbs 16, verse 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. And I'm going to end it there. Lord's will, this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechak Wadash, Shalom, Abad Babal, and Kwam Yasharallah.